Welcome! Today, we'll talk about a movie that considered a milestone in cinema. Fight Club was released in 1999, a complex film and controversial. To this day, people are still talking about it. We will try to understand together its layers and its messages about our daily lives in the heart of identity and consumption, and see why it's still influential. This film is like a mirror that reflects many of the tensions and anxieties in our modern society. It delves into the void existential caused by consumer culture and deconstructs the concept of masculinity and identity in a world of corporations, especially the beginning, with the narrator, a nameless character, an insurance employee drowned in a boring routine and a monotonous life to the point of chronic insomnia, searching for any feeling of life. Strangely, he finds it, but in support groups, for patients with serious illnesses. He pretends to be one of them. And this takes us directly to the heart of the analysis, a stinging critique of materialistic life that empties a person of his content. Like the narrator's recourse to these groups, not just to sleep, no, it's a crime, a search for genuine human connection, for emotional release. The irony is that he finds it, but through deception. This shows the extent of his despair. After that, Marla Singer appears, who does the same thing. This fragile refuge is threatened and revealed to be fake. And in the midst of all this, Tyler Durden appears, a different character completely, charismatic and untamed. The complete opposite of the narrator, free, rebellious, violent. Their meeting changes everything and leads them to establish the secret Fight Club. Here, things take a completely different direction. Tyler is not just a secondary character in the story, no. He is the embodiment of everything the narrator and his suppressed anger inside him. The desire to rebel, the need to feel alive. And the club itself, Fight Club, is a primal and violent reaction against the feeling of marginalization and the powerlessness imposed by monotonous modern life. The whole idea is to regain the feeling of the body of existence, even through pain and chaos. Violence here is a way to feel alive. Fight Club evolves. It turns into a chaotic project as an organized subversive movement and targets the foundations of the system, the financial and consumerist system itself, banks, corporations, and symbols of power. And this escalation is a very important point and a shift from personal emotional release to organized rebellion raises big questions. Questions about the nature of revolution and its limits, and asks whether chaos can build something. The film uses the Chaos Project not only to attack corporations and the consumer culture that steals the individual's identity, but also to explore the risks that might occur as reactions to the entire system. Extremely extreme risks. There is a fine line between liberation and total destruction. Then we reach the shocking revelation, the big one in the movie. The narrator and Tyler Durden are the same person, to discover that Tyler is merely a creation of the narrator's mind, a result of this dissociation. If we look literally, it's a case of dissociative identity disorder. But more importantly is the figurative meaning. It represents the deep internal conflict that consumes us from within, all of us without exception. The conflict between the ego that tries to conform to society and its pressures, and the rebellious ego that wants to destroy everything and break free. Tyler is the ultimate embodiment of consumerism critique, the desire to erase everything, debts, history, the identity shaped by society, and start from scratch. The film screams and says that possessions and material things not only shape humans, but enslave them. Destroying the apartment, the narrator's apartment furnished with IKEA furniture, was the first step in his liberation, and the comparison is clear throughout the film. The narrator's suffocating life consumerist and Tyler's free life from enslavement. Even the comparison between the absence of the narrator's father, the real one, and Tyler's imagined father, the domineering one. It points to deeper problems related to paternal and societal authority. And these comparisons support the idea that the flaw is not just individual, no. It is rooted in the structure of society and the family itself. All this contributes to the feeling of ruin and dissatisfaction. And the film also cleverly criticizes how consumer culture manipulates us and uses the trick of Tyler to enter unconscious frames in films, as a symbol of how advertising plants desires in us that we don't need or care about. Also, Tyler plants ideas of chaos in his other self. In the end, the narrator shoots himself to get rid of Tyler and apparently succeeds. But the final scene, as he looks at the skyscrapers collapsing due to the Chaos Project, leaves the end of the film open. The ending raises a very controversial idea. Should things be destroyed to be reborn? Should the old be completely demolished to build something better? The film does not give an easy answer. It reflects a repressed desire in many people to destroy systems they see as corrupt. But at the same time, it makes us wonder about the consequences of this destruction. Will chaos lead us to a better future or to a worse situation? For this reason, Fight Club remains a legendary film because it shakes our beliefs about freedom in a world consumerist, and about the usefulness of rebellion, and about the search for meaning in our existence under the pressures of modern life. It is not a call to violence, but rather a provocation, a deep one to think about our condition. It obliges us to confront our anxieties and our repressed desires for radical change, and invites us to question the things we take for granted. And we conclude with a final question. What if the systems we live in have all these flaws? What would real rebellion look like? What is the price you are willing to pay to change these systems? Especially since you don't know what the future holds. Especially since you don't know the future.